Well, welcome to my channel, Making Crafts, and welcome back to Don't Throw It Away Thursday. And so this week I am going to finish up using this pair of jeans. And I have just this little portion of the leg left, of one of the legs left. And so I also have a little piece here that was left over from last week, I think. And then I have some lace. And this is just, I think I will use the blue lace if I use it. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not. And then I have some fabric here that I'm planning on using. And then I have this pack of fabric. These are just 10-inch squares, and so I think I'm just going to use one of the colors from this one. I think it'll be this green one. This green plaid I think will work good. So I'm just going to pull that one out, and then I'll set the rest aside. I'm also going to be using my Peking shears, and these cut like a little zigzag at the edge of your fabric. And so I'm going to be using these, and these are super old, and then I'll just be using my regular scissors as well. And you'll need some needles for this. And I'm going to be using my circle dies. And I'm not going to be cutting them with this. I'm just going to use these dies as my templates. And so I've laid out several sizes that I think will work good for this. And I'm just eyeballing the sizes, and I just try to get them so that they stack really well. And so I think this will be an easier way for me to trace the circles onto the fabric. But if you don't have these, then you could use the bottom of your glue bottle, because as you can see here, it matches up with one size of my die. You could also use your water bottles. So this is a little water bottle of mine, and it matches up to another one of the dies. And so you'll just look around through your house and see what has different size circles. And so here's my glue bottle. It has a smaller bottom to it, and so I can just trace it if I wanted to. You could also use any of your mixed media bottles, your texture paste bottles. They're a little larger for the larger template, and you could even print out templates online, but just go through your house and find circles to trace if you don't have these dies. So even like your thread, you could use your thread bottom to do it. So you're just looking for various size circles to trace, and I even have a jar lid here that would work great. But for me, I had these dies, so that's what I'm going to use, because I think that they will make it super easy for me to trace around them. But you don't have to have these dies. So I'm just going to go on the back side of my fabric with my black ink pen, because it's not going to show through, and I am just going to trace these circles out. And I'm tracing on the inside this time, but sometimes when I trace the circle, I trace on the outside. Other times I trace on the inside. It really doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get different size circles so that I can layer them for these flowers. So I'm just going to go through and just cut various size circles, and what I'm trying to do is make sure that they are going to layer well, because I know that I don't want to stack two jean circles on top of each other. I want to stack a jean circle and then a fabric circle and then a jean circle, or vice versa that way, but I don't want two jean circles together. So I want to be sure that I make my circles a couple of sizes smaller each time. So for example, if I had a 1-inch circle, then I'd want to be sure that I cut another jean circle that was a 1/2 inch. But I'm not doing that small, because that's really small to cut out. So I'm trying to do a little bit larger circles, but I'm just giving you an example. You may want to go a 1/2 inch smaller or 1/4 inch smaller, so that each circle is an 1/8 inch smaller than each other. However you want to do it, you just want to have when you stack them, you want to have a bit of each fabric showing. So you want to be sure that you have different size circles. So I'm just going to go through and trace these on my jean material, and then I'll also trace them out on my fabric. Okay, so once I have all the circles traced out, then I'm just going to cut them. So some of them I will cut with my regular scissors, and then some of them I will cut with my Peking shears, but most of them right now I'm cutting with my regular scissors. So once I have them all cut out, now I'm going to start prepping them for the flowers. So I'm going to layer them up, as you can see, in the different sizes, layering them up to make the flowers. So that's what I was talking about earlier, how you want to go ahead and be sure that you cut various sizes so that they can layer up together. But before we start layering them, what you want to do is you want to go in and you're just going to cut little notches or little slits into the circle. And I just do these kind of random around through there. I'm not measuring. I'm just sort of eyeballing how many to put on here. And so I just try to eyeball them even amount. So kind of like they're petals is what you're thinking of. But they don't have to be even, because if you think about flowers in nature, every petal is not exactly the same size, so it doesn't matter, just so that you don't cut too far to the center, because if you cut down into the center, you don't want to wind up cutting a petal off or cutting your flower in half. So just be sure to just cut it towards the center, but don't go all the way to the center with these little notches. So you just want to go through and cut notches on all of your circles. And I do this before I layer them all up. And so you can see here, it's just small little slits cut into the fabric. Okay, so it has been several weeks since I started this video. So I started this video and then I broke my finger and then I had some health issues. And so it has taken me a couple of weeks. So I've missed 2 of my Don't Throw It Away Thursdays. But I, first off with my finger and then with my health issues. And it wasn't the virus that's going on in the world right now. I just have some other health issues going on. And so I'm doing better. I'm feeling better today. And my finger's feeling better. I just have to wear this brace for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And I can't take it off. If I take it off and my finger bends again, then it's re-damaged because it's broke and the tendon has come unattached. So we're going to see if I can craft with it on. And I am going to see if I can get back on track with my Don't Throw It Away Thursdays. I was enjoying doing those, and I was sad to have to skip them, but I just wasn't feeling up to it last week and this week. So now we're going to get started back. So Don't Throw Away Thursday might actually be uploaded on a Saturday this week, just because it's maybe when it works out best. We'll see. And I have several videos that I haven't uploaded yet that before I broke my finger. So it's going to look strange. I'm going to have some videos with my finger braced up and then other videos that it's not. But that's just how it's going to be. So when we left off in the video, I think we left off that I had cut these, the little little gashes into the fabric. And so you can see when you cut it, your fabric starts to curl. So now I've also went and cut some other fabric. So I had the green in the previous video, or previous part of this video. And so then I found this fabric. It had some blues because I'm working on a journal that has blues in it as well. So what we're going to do is, and I also want to use some of this lace like I showed you at the beginning. So I'm just, for this one, I'm going to take and I'm going to layer my jeans circle that's already been, the gashes, the little notches, I guess notches that we cut in it. And then I'm going to layer some lace. And then I'm going to put another layer with the fabric. And let's see. Then I think a layer of jeans. And do I want a layer, another layer? Maybe the layer of this little fabric. So now what I want to do is I just want to go through the center of this. And I may have the wrong needle. I'm looking around thinking this may be the wrong needle, because it's not as sharp as some, but we'll see. If I can get to the center, that'll be fine. So then I just want to put a couple of stitches in the center here. I'm going to have to trim that off. I should have started the back side, but that's okay. We're just trying to get it to stick together, and we'll cover that up later with a bead or a button once we decide what we want. But to make the flower first, I'm just going to stitch it together, just lightly. Nothing major, just sort of hold together during this process. I'm going to tie a knot in the back here in case I decide to glue a button on instead of tying it on. I have made some up and I tied the buttons on, but this one I don't know. So then you've got your fabric cut like this. So now what you want to do is you just want to drop it down in a little bowl of water and get it good and soaked. And while that one is soaking, well, let's make up another one. So, okay, so for this one, let's just layer up a piece of jean material and then another piece of lace. And let's use this fabric. And then let's use one of these jean circles. And this may be a smaller flower with maybe not as many layers. I'm not sure. Let's see what we have here. And I did do some with the zigzag shears, I forgot what you call those now, but I did cut some out that way, and I'll show you later some of the ones that I've made up using that. We could layer that. I don't know if I want to. Maybe that's enough layers. Let's just layer that much, and now let's just tack it together with this thread. Once again, we just want to go down through the center and just tack it together here. Okay. Then I'm just going to tie it together here, and then I'm going to put something in the center anyway to hide this thread. So now we're just going to take this one and dunk it in the water as well. So I have a towel here, and use an old towel because you can see where I've been making them up. You get a lot of the fabric threads that comes loose, and that's what you're wanting to come loose is while we're wetting them, but you do get a lot of that on your towel, so be sure to use a towel that's not a new special towel. And so then what I'm going to do is I just lay it in here like this, and then I find where it's at, and then I'm just going to scrunch it up and twist it. And I'm just twisting it so that I can get all the water out. Well, not all of it, most of it out. And you can see it's twisted up, but then you still want to twist it up like this, and you can keep scrunching it and just letting the towel absorb the water. And what I do is I scrunch them up like this, and I just keep scrunching them, and I let them dry scrunched up. So I'll just set them around on my towel kind of like that, scrunched up, or I'll go in here and I just keep scrunching them so that when they dry they're just balled up and scrunched up. So here's another one. We'll do the same thing to it. We're going to just ball it up. We're just scrunching it and twisting it to get the water out, but also we're scrunching it to get the look that we're wanting. So then I'll just let that air dry. Sometimes when I was in a hurry the other day working on them, before I figured out my finger was broke, I did take and use my heat tool to dry some, but it's best to just let them dry mainly on their own. So we're going to set those aside and let those dry, and let me show you what you get. So once they're dry, the water, let me see if I can get it down here. So the water causes it to fray more, and then it causes where you cut the little notches in your fabric, it causes the fabric to curl up, especially since we scrunched it, it will curl up. And so here's different versions of it because some are curled up more than others. So the ones that's really curled up, I scrunched and I dried them curled up. Whereas like this one, when it was wet and damp, I pressed it out more and let it dry like that. But I think I like them curled up better than I do flat. So I did curl up more of them. And I have a few that I did flat because I really didn't know what they're going to look like until they were dry. And I have went through and made quite a few of these. And so I have quite a few made. But as you can see, when you wet them and then you scrunch it in the towel, that really helps to fray the edges. And I think it really gives it a look to it. Let me see if I can hold it up so you can see them. Hopefully it's focusing. But you can see it's got all this texture. And then like this one's got all the layers. And it's got the ragged edges, but it's not as curled up. But say you flattened it out and then you didn't like it. All you would have to do is dunk it back in the water, scrunch it up, ball it up while it's wet, scrunch it. And even when you ball it up when it's dry, you can get a little bit more fluff to it. And you can fluff it up like that. But if you want to get that permanent curl so that it stays curled when you put it on your project, then you'll want to go ahead and put it back in the water and scrunch it up and let it dry scrunched up. And that'll get the little crinkles in it. And if you're finding that yours are not curling as much, then one thing is that you may have not cut enough little notches in it, because the notches is what I think helps it to curl, because I noticed they start curling even before I add the water to them. And so this one now, I use the peaking shears. I knew I would think of it before the end of the video. The peaking shears that causes like the zigzag effect on the edges right here. These are very old. I've had these for I've had them almost 30 years. So the peaking shears, I cut all of these with the peaking shears, And then like this one, I did not cut notches in, but then the jeans I did, and then the larger ones I cut notches, and then this pair of jeans I didn't. This jean circle I didn't cut notches in. So you can do it any way you want to try different looks. This one I'm not as crazy about because it is more flat and not as curled as this one, and so I like the curled ones better, but it's really the style that you're going for. And I think these are going to be really cute. Let's see, here's a little project I had. I think these are going to be really cute just attached to like a book, journal cover, or attached to something like this, a little project. That one, these do look good on this one too. I think the green really looks good. And you can try all different fabrics. Like this one, I tried to use the green fabric and then the blue and pink fabric together. And I think that they turned out really cute. I really like them. So, and let's see, these are not dry yet, but they're starting to dry, but they're curled up. And so here you can see this one where I put the lace in it, but like we did just then. And you don't have to have a full circle of lace, just little bits and pieces of lace. So that one I just put lace on just some sides there. And so as these dry, this one's just damp now, but if I press it out, then it's not going to be curled as much, but it will curl up good if you just keep scrunching it and let it dry curled up. And then you can add buttons, you can add jewels, you can add all kinds of things to the center of them. For these, I have added buttons, but the other two, I think I'm going to go and find some pearl-like jewels to just hot glue to the center. So you can do all kinds of stuff with them. And you can cut out a bunch of circles at one time and then make up a bunch in one sitting. And you can soak them all at the same time. And I do like to let them soak for several minutes just to get them really soaked through and through. Because with the jean fabric, you know, it is thicker, so you want to be sure it gets soaked all the way through. And then you're just scrunching the water out. And it does look really ragged when you pull it out. But then as it dries, it curls up and it's just a pretty little flower. And especially when you add something to the center. I don't know if I have anything nearby that I can add. I've got this on my desk here. Let's try these. But when you add some little jewels and things to the center, it really dresses it up, and that's when it makes it really look like a flower. So I might add this to one of these. I think that looks good. So it's just a little jewel there. So I think that would be pretty. And if I flatten it out like this, then it's going to dry more flatter than some. But I do like that, and so I'll hot glue that there. And then this one is not quite dry either, but we can kind of get an idea how it's going to look. And so you can see its fabrics is curling up. And I think the longer they sit and dry, the prettier they get. But then you could just add a little jewel there, and that would be pretty. So I hope that this Don't Throw It Away Thursday on a different day video, unless I do wait till Thursday to upload it of next week. I hope that it's inspired you to find another way to use up your old jeans. And I've pretty much used up that whole pair of jeans. So I did not throw them away, but I actually used them in projects. I do have a little bit left, and I did have another idea to use for them, so I may use those in another video and it not be a Don't Throw Away Thursday, because I have some other items that I want to make some videos of not throwing it away. So I think we'll move on from the jeans now, and for February we'll use some other items. Well, thank you so much for watching, and if you do decide to make these, please be sure, if you share your pictures on Instagram, to tag me on there. You can tag me at Making Crafts Studio, and I would love to see if you give these a go. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and bye.